Alrighty. I think we...
Are we on?
Yeah. Are we on? Is this thing working? Oh, okay. So there's 7 minutes. So we've been on for 7 minutes. We didn't just turn the camera on.
They've been watching me move around. I don't see anything, though.
Yeah. So let me double check. Trying to do this in a new way. So, oh wait, here. No, I don't think so.
Good thing I didn't take my notes. All right. I just saw it.
I know, it says it's been on for 8 minutes. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's in, yeah, it says 8 minutes, and down here it says 1 minute. So.
Let's just go.
Let's just go with it. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, there's some folks. Hello. So as if you saw the preview video that we shot, I was just thinking that, while I've been doing some of these live things, there are a number of issues that are coming up for folks, particularly being sheltered in place with their families.
Their kids?
Their kids, having their kids home from school. And while I can certainly, riff on with tapping rounds on pretty much anything, Christy is an expert in family issues.
Sure.
Yeah.
We raised one.
We'll go with it. 2.
We raised, one family. One family.
Oh,
One family. And they're functional, and they talk to us continuously. So it's like,
math
that's really
is not
good.
a restaurant.
They still talk to us. This is why we know things that went okay.
We figure we've...
And they don't just call for money. That's what's really great.
Yeah. One of them is...
One of them had to come home. Some of you have probably experienced this too. If you have kids in college who had to then leave and come back home and they're online. So we are going through that with you.
Yeah.
And some of you are at home with your kids at home. And while we do not have young kids anymore, I work in a school system, so I'm working all the time with the teachers that are trying to help you all do some distance learning, but it's tough. It's tough. So I'd love to see in the comments how many of you have kids at home with you right now. Yeah.
So what I want to do is just to sort of get the ball rolling, I'm going to do some tapping, because I assume that if you're here on my page, it's because you enjoy tapping. So what I'm going to ask you to do first is go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Just allow yourself to go inside and notice what's going on in there, particularly around family stuff. Whether that's just dealing with your spouse or managing kids, whether it's kids who have come home from college or kids who are very young, kids who you're having to homeschool or who are doing school online. And maybe it's issues with your parents, whether they're in-house with you or you're worried about them someplace else. Just allow yourself to be aware of the different challenges and the discomfort that you might be feeling around all of that. And just feel what's going on inside. Say, I should be handling this better.
I should be handling this better.
And just allow yourself to be aware on a scale of 0 to 10 how true that is. How much you're shooting on yourself. And allowing yourself to feel discomfort because of that. Notice where in your body you might feel it. Just noticing what's going on there. Go ahead and take a deep breath and open your eyes. Even though I should be handling this better.
Even though I should be handling this better.
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I should be handling this better,
Even though I should be handling this better,
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I should be handling this better,
Even though I should be handling this better,
or at least I wish I was handling this better.
or at least I wish I was handling this better.
I wish I was feeling better.
I wish I was feeling better.
I wish I were doing things differently.
I wish I was doing things differently.
I wish I didn't have to deal with this at all.
I wish I didn't have to deal with this at all.
And even though I should be doing it differently,
And even though I should be doing it differently,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else involved.
and maybe anyone else involved.
This belief that I should be handling it better.
This belief that I should be handling it better.
I should be handling this so much better.
I should be handling this so much better.
I should be doing things differently.
I should be doing things differently.
I should be the perfect parent,
I should be the perfect parent,
or the perfect child,
or the perfect child,
or the perfect spouse.
or the perfect spouse.
Yeah, like that's going to happen.
Yeah, like that's going to happen.
But somehow I think I should be doing it differently,
But somehow I think I should be doing it differently,
even though I am not prepared for this.
even though I'm not prepared for this.
In all of my programming,
In all of my programming,
I was never taught how to handle something like this.
I was never taught how to handle something like this.
But that doesn't stop me from shooting on myself.
But that doesn't stop me from shooting on myself.
All this need to do better.
All this need to do better.
All this need to beat myself up
All this need to beat myself up
for not doing better.
for not doing better.
And I choose to move through that.
And I choose to move through that.
Because the truth is,
Because the truth is,
I'm doing the best I can
I'm doing the best I can
with what I know
with what I know
and where I'm at.
and where I'm at.
I am doing the best I can.
I'm doing the best I can.
And I choose to love and forgive myself
And I choose to love and forgive myself
right where I'm at.
right where I'm at.
Moving through this,
Moving through this,
letting go of all these shoulds,
letting go of all these shoulds,
loving and appreciating myself
loving and appreciating myself
right where I'm at.
right where I'm at,
With all this stuff that I'm juggling,
with all this stuff that I'm juggling,
all this stuff I'm trying to handle,
all this stuff I'm trying to handle.
I'm allowing myself to feel good about myself,
I'm allowing myself to feel good about myself,
allowing myself to feel more peace
allowing myself to feel more peace
in body, mind, and spirit.
in body, mind, and spirit.
Take a deep breath.
Okay,
Do-
problem solved. That was awesome. No, actually, that was really good. That was good.
So interesting doing the synchronized tapping.
Well, I didn't know what you were saying, so I couldn't do it. Yeah. Okay.
um, so let me just see. I'm wondering if this is, yeah, so there still might be a slight delay.
Delay.
I'm
So
not sure.
what I wanted to say is when you were doing that, I feel like for sure, you and I talk. We actually talk all day, every day, right?
A fair
But
amount.
fair amount. But of course, I really resonate with the shoulding, right? Like the shoulding on ourselves. And I say that to teachers all the time and they get a big giggle. But the deal is, it feels like we should know how to do this. And I have been sharing with teachers, gee, when was the last pandemic you were a part of? When was the last time everything in the country, everything in the world shut down? Because I can't remember that time. I'm pretty sure I would have seen that in a history book.
And when was the last time you took a class in how to parent, how to teach, how to manage anything in a pandemic?
Yeah. So we have no framework in existence for us to fall back on when we have other crises, horrible things that happen to us, an illness, a death in the family, divorce. There's some framework, like we can go to Google. And I still haven't found on Google how to handle and respond to living through this circumstance. So there's not a lot to couch it around. So,
but we wanted to, field questions, see what's coming up for folks, and share some tips and some tapping as we might. So let us know what are you particularly struggling with in terms of family stuff, whether it's your parents or your kids. Christy's got a book coming out about sandwich generation, where
So you're raising children and you're also caring, in some ways, managing the care or actually caring directly for your aging parents. And so if any of you are in that boat right now, as members of the sandwich generation, would love to see that in the comments too. Here's the thing on that one. This is, you're probably seeing stories about this, people whose parents are in assisted living. If they have, it's even harder for families that have someone maybe in dementia care and they can't go to see them, and how heartbreaking that is, not just for us, but then the guilt we have that we can't be there for our parent. And it's just heartbreaking. But hearing a lot about managing kids at home, like, unless you've been doing homeschooling, this is a whole new world, right? So it's tough. And I will tell you, it's tough for the teachers too. So any of you who are educators out there, how are you managing this? Because, and I know Brad, but I do a lot with caregivers on self-care and a lot with teachers on self-care, because I firmly believe that if you take care of yourself, show up in a positive way for the people you love and care for. You can't pour from an empty vessel, oxygen mask on first, all those cliches.
So I'm seeing some comments come up, and
patient with my kids. Yeah.
Patient. So
Ooh.
Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And you had brought up guilt too, and that's one of the huge things, and that's tied in with the patient. I feel guilty that I'm not being more patient. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. And allow yourself, and this kind of is just an addition to that first round that we did about shooting on yourself, but allow yourself to be aware of any sense of guilt about not being more patient, about not handling it better. And
I'm seeing some things on, missing physical contact with your family, but with kids feeling impatient and getting it right. And you feeling like, I'm going to undo all their schooling now in this 3 months. You can't get it wrong when you love your kids. Like, you really can't get it too wrong when you love your kids. So it's okay if they're not moving from adding 2 + 2 to calculus tomorrow. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
Although there may be people out there who say, oh, the education system is a mess, and now I'm going to show the right way to do it, and maybe finding, oh, wow, this is tougher than I thought.
It is hard.
I loved the meme that I saw that said, so far 2 students have been suspended and a teacher has been fired for drinking on the job. Homeschooling is going great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's true. But I really do feel strongly you are. And if you're juggling having to do your own business Zoom calls and then your kids in the other room fighting,
we're doing their piano practice in the background.
Lower the bar to be, you are doing well by being there with your kids and taking care of yourself, demonstrating for them how to survive when things are stressful. Take a walk with your kids. Hey, this is what we do when we're stressed out, kids. We go for a walk. Let's do it. Come on. Things like that.
So let's jump in with some tapping, and actually throughout this hour that we're together, I'm going to encourage you, even when we're just riffing, to take the time to tap, because tapping is so good for lowering our stress, helping us think more clearly, and it's something that most of us don't think to do on a regular basis. So at least for this time together, so I'll go ahead and be tapping most of the time, even when we're just chatting. But for right now, even though I feel all this guilt.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
And if guilt isn't what you're feeling, go ahead and say whatever it is that you're
frustration, impatience.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
Even though I feel all this guilt.
Maybe even shame.
Maybe even shame.
Because I think I should be doing better.
Because I think I should be doing better.
I think I should be more patient.
I think I should be more patient.
And I'm kind of losing my crap.
And I'm kind of losing it right now.
And even though I feel guilty about this.
And even though I feel guilty about this,
I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved.
And maybe anyone else involved.
Including all these people in the house with me.
Including all these people in the house with me.
All this guilt.
All this guilt.
All this frustration.
All this frustration.
I think I should be more patient.
I think I should be more patient.
I have a lot of expectations.
I have a lot of expectations.
And I'm not entirely meeting them.
And I'm not entirely meeting them.
Maybe I need to lower them.
And maybe I need to lower them.
So I can live high on lowered expectations.
So I can live high on lowered expectations.
All these expectations.
All these expectations.
Of how amazingly patient.
Of how amazingly patient I should be.
Under these extreme circumstances.
Under these extreme circumstances.
And that might be asking a bit much of myself.
And that might be asking a bit much of myself.
And it's entirely possible.
And it's entirely possible.
That I'm asking a bit much of these other people too.
That I'm asking a bit much of these other people too.
Why aren't you all much better behaved?
Why aren't you much better behaved?
Why aren't you quiet when I need you to be quiet?
Why aren't you quiet when I need you to be quiet?
Why don't you do the lessons I give you?
Why don't you do the lessons I give you?
Why don't you do what I want you to do?
Why don't you do what I want you to do?
Without me having to ask.
Without me having to ask.
I'm losing my cool.
I'm losing my cool.
And then I feel guilty about that.
And then I feel guilty about that.
As if that helps.
As if that helps.
So I can say to others.
Hey,
I feel really bad that I lost my cool.
I feel really bad that I lost my cool.
But at least I'm feeling bad about that.
But at least I'm feeling bad about that.
So doesn't that make up for it?
So doesn't that make up for it?
And I'm moving through this.
And I'm moving through this.
All these expectations.
All these expectations.
Of myself and others.
Of myself and others.
And as I move through this. I have a much better time. Tapping into my higher guidance. Part of me knows it's there. But it gets drowned out a lot. With all the noises in the house. With all the noises in my head. With all these expectations. Whether I'm yelling at my kids. Or yelling at myself. All these expectations. All this noise. And I'm giving myself permission. To move through it. To clear it. To find peace. And allowing myself to know. I am doing the best I can. And as I give myself permission to know that. And forgive myself. I find more peace. I can think more clearly. And then I can do even better. I'm doing the best I can. Acknowledging that. Allows me to do better. I'm setting myself free to do better. In body, mind, and spirit. And take a deep breath.
Okay.
And let's see. Ben in the UK stayed up late. Thank you.
We are healthy and safe, Ben. Thank you. And so some of you are self-isolating and it's hard. I have to say, I want to respond to that. I am a very extroverted person. Brad hasn't had to shift a lot of his life. I don't know if you know this, but Brad works from home.
In a shed in the backyard where they make me go and that they isolate me all the time. So I was doing this whole quarantine thing before it was a thing.
So Brad has had to actually
keep tapping.
He has to tap through the fact that there are actually people in the house all day. But for me, I'm one of those, I'm at a school, I've got teachers and parents and staff and kids, and I'm shaking hands and giving hugs all day long. And it's been hard. It's been really hard to not have people. And for Brad, it's been hard having people in the house all day.
As much as I love these people, and I do love them.
Well, but that's the case, yeah. Right? Like all of you love your kids, you love your family, and yet it's like, well, we're getting a little cabin fever here. It's hard.
So I'm just trying to
Yay for extroverts. Yes. And it's tricky. And I feel that we go through waves. There are days when things are working really well, we're in sync, and then, man, just one thing. And so we have to ride the waves. We have to learn this is surfing. We are surfing through all of this, and we don't know what's coming. And it's hard
or how
to
long it's going to be.
Right. So,
that, and that uncertainty leads to a lot of anxiety, which is why it's so great that we have this tool for lowering our anxiety. And that's why hopefully you guys saw the video I shot out in our yard out there the other day, encouraging people even just to try tapping the collarbone point for those people out there who are, say, too silly. We totally forgot to do our little.
I did it before we started.
Did you show that?
But so I know we are. I did a EFT tapping with some folks last week, and we are all being told. So we use this. We wash our hands before we go. So I'm going to do some more since we're right here talking about it.
Washed my hands just before I came.
Me too, but it's important.
It was like when this all started, and the first recommendations were, "Don't touch your face." It's like, I touch my face as my living. It's my job.
I'm out of a job.
To touch my face.
I'm out of a job.
But hopefully, if you'd seen that video, maybe share it with others to say, hey, look, this is a time of a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. There's a simple tool. And even if you're just going to tap the chest and the collarbone point, then that's better than nothing. And it's a great way to lower the stress and to deal with all these things. Eric was talking about, just getting groceries. I was talking to someone the other day about, or last night on teleclass about the, it's so funny. I feel like a bank robber when I go shopping. And I would just had to go into my mailbox yesterday, and as soon as I walk, just before I walk in, I pull my bandana over my face, and it looks like a classic scene out of a bank robbery. I'm about to go in. You can see
give me all the chips
hanging up there. Christy just got us some special masks. She got me this new Star Wars mask. How cool is that?
Well, and I was talking with somebody today who said they're out walking and they've got their mask on and they're just smiling at people and no one knows. So it's like, you have to be really bold. It's like, so this probably is good for you because having gone the clown training that you've had, Brad, you have to do the big movements to get people to interact. And when you're out walking now, you have to be, because they can't see you smiling under your mask.
Just like your phone, as you may have seen on my Instagram post a few weeks ago or last week. I'm just there trying to open my phone, and it's not opening with facial recognition because I totally forgot that I had a mask over my face. I was like, who are you and what are you doing with Brad's phone?
So as you can see, one of our coping mechanisms is finding the humor where we can, because that's how we get through most things. So I hope some of you are finding some fun things. Anxiety is very high. Okay, somebody's talking about their daughter's a nurse. That's really got to be really hard to know that your child is on the front lines. So, boy, I you for that. Hope my daughter does any tapping, but that might be wonderful too. And but that's hard. I mean, I don't even. So Shannon, read up on tapping. There's a lot more research going out. And so, Brad's been doing this for quite some time. And as a school psychologist, I was like, well, and Dr. Peter Stapleton down really, really great science coming out, confirming how well tapping just really lowers cortisol levels, and that's the hormone that's released in our stress cycle. And when it stays in our body, can really cause a lot of disease and discomfort. So
it compromises really our immune system, which we really want to be as robust as possible right now. Right. So that's why it's another one of the reasons why tapping is so beneficial. because lowering stress is one of the best ways to boost our immune system. It also helps us think more clearly, and we want to be making as good a choices as possible, as we're going through our day, as we're going out there, because we can get very, very anxious about the things that we're doing. And we can calm ourselves down and recognize, okay, I am making good choices. I'm wearing a mask around other people. I'm hand sanitizing. We've got little things of hand sanitizer that we carry with us. Well, I'm pretty much the only one who goes out. I go to the shopping. I'm the hunter-gatherer. So I carry hand sanitizer. So if I touch things, I'm then putting it on. The mask helps me stop myself from touching my face.
And I'll share, I do have some autoimmune. So I've been how much stress really for many years, how much stress impacts any kind of autoimmune disorder. It just can trigger and exacerbate any kind of autoimmune disorder. So if you have any autoimmune issues, learning different techniques that can help you are really important. And then finding different ways to use strategies. I'm, of course, in love with tapping, but I also love just doing some guided meditations, and I love doing, Brad used to do this. I love that, and I like progressive relaxation. And out there on YouTube, beyond Brad's amazing channel, there are some other ones that strategies like progressive relaxation and meditation and things like that. And so finding what works for you and finding different ones for different times, but definitely calming your system.
And Lauren asking about other points, like tapping the wrists together, under the arm, and the finger points.
Right, there's the whole
camera up there. And these are things you can do even when you're out in public, and or you can also rub your chest if you're out in public and find yourself stressed out, as some of us might feel when we're out in public. So,
like a 9 gamut piece that you don't generally do, but
haven't done for a long time.
But that's one that sometimes with kids, when I've taught kids some tapping, that's something that they can just do very discreetly under their desk, right? They're nervous about something, that sort of thing. So there's lots of ways that you can find little tapping points that will help you.
It was awesome. I had a client, a friend of ours, a neighbor. Her daughter had some anxiety, and taught her tapping. Actually, after reading The Wizard, she had the first good night's sleep she'd had in a long time, which was awesome. And then I taught her some tapping, and the school allowed her to go into the back part of the classroom and do some tapping.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, and tomorrow night with our daughter Bailey, I'm going to do some tapping for kids. So it'll be the same time, same bat time, same bat channel. Tomorrow it'll be so if you have young ones, then join us for that. Need a round of tapping.
Too intimidated by your presence, Brad. Sound is glitching. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, 9 gamma. Okay, some people.
Yeah, I know that we're apparently having some issues. I think that the problem with the screen or the sound, a lot of people are using the internet, so maybe Facebook. In fact, I tried to do a Facebook Live with someone last week or the week before on his Facebook, and we couldn't get it to work just because I think Facebook was overloaded and just shutting down.
Big possible time.
With so many trying to do Facebook.
Sorry.
We're doing the best we can.
Yeah. Wish I could write back and say, here's what we're saying. Maybe I can put it on my iPad. Well, the other thing that I was going to say, and maybe I can send it to you to put up into your Facebook or something, but so I do talk a lot to folks about strategies for self-care, and there's some EFT, mindfulness, mind, body, one of those. Other things that are really important are there's some things that we all kind of know as doing, it's that those dreaded shoulds, but definitely our diet and what we're eating, putting into our that is really important, right? And we get outside, get some vitamin D. I know all of you are at different places around the world, and maybe it's not great sunshine right now, but there have been a numerous amount of studies showing that most humans don't get enough vitamin D. And so getting outside is one natural way to get some vitamin D. And we need to increase our, to really make that work. I've learned very recently from a wonderful person that I did some work with, we need magnesium to make that vitamin D really be functional and effective. But consult your doctor on that. But getting outside is also just beautiful, right? Being able to get out, see nature. It's a great way to break the monotony of being stuck in the house. So that's one thing. Another thing is finding ways to laugh and find humor. So whenever you can watch, so being careful about the media that you're taking in, right? Like what kind of on Netflix. And we're not always good about that, because lately we've watched some things that at the end we're thinking,
might as well just watch the news.
But, you know, taking in things that are going to uplift you, great music, things like that, movement, exercise, and, you know, dance in your house, dance parties. That's great with kids. They love it. We used to do that with our kids and put them on the table. We had a really old coffee table, and we would put them on the coffee table and dance to a bunch of different music.
And watching your media intake.
Yes.
As much as possible, watching, you know, your family's media intake, and trying to, talk about how, look, there's a lot of anxiety and stress right now. And so maybe we want to, mitigate that as much as possible by not necessarily one of intense, upsetting stuff. And obviously
so while
there's limits to what you can do without making things even more stressful. Right, you can't watch that. Yes, I can.
Right. But maybe, you can pull yourself away from something you're watching to watch Trolls World Tour or something. We haven't done that yet, but we did watch Onward.
But my nieces were talking about it and very excited about it. So
I mean, whatever it is you're into. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is simply smiling is a really great way. It actually, the act of smiling releases in your body. Smile when you can, right? When you're, even if it's under your mask and no one sees it, just be smiling and find ways to pass that along to other people. A smile is as contagious often as a sneeze, so share it, pass it along.
And as my friend Penny Eifrig, who's on here, who produced the book A Garden of Emotions, which my daughter Bailey will be reading tomorrow, which you can get the ebook for free right now. I have to mention that. So
perfect. Thanks, Penny. And I love her note about John Krasinski's Some Good News.
To get some smiles, fabulous especially stuff. The episode.
It was beautiful. It was
spectacular.
Wonderful. Really, really great. So Brene, me and Brene, we're like this. Yes, I love her. She's great. Okay, another thing Brene has been talking about. I'm sorry, I'm taking over.
No. Even though we're not doing formal tapping rounds, keep tapping, because, we're just sharing information. If nothing else, we're gathering, which is such a good thing when we're so often isolated. But keep tapping throughout this, because even if we're not talking about a specific thing, we can still be clearing stuff around whatever's coming up for us.
So I love Brene Brown. She just does amazing. One of her more is she talks about FFT, your effing first try at something. And so because like I said, pandemic, global shutdown.
As opposed to EFT, your excellent first try.
But so forgive yourself for, it's okay. It's okay if it didn't work, and this is what I've been sharing with teachers, right? You haven't done, those of you who are classroom teachers, you haven't been trained to do distance learning on a daily basis, and you're having to do this now. And so,
and if you're a parent, you haven't been trained to do any kind of teaching.
And so if it
one child is in college and the other one is already graduated, so that we're not having to.
But does a thing. It's okay. And then that's a great reframe for kids. Hey, that didn't work, but you know what? Here's what might. Let's try another thing. What a wonderful lesson for kids too. And they're watching you all the time. They're learning from you. So when they see you stressing out, it's a great opportunity for you to be honest and say, yeah, I'm stressing out, and here's what I'm going to do about it. Not, oh no, mommy's perfect. Mommy never stresses out. You know what? Mommy stresses out. And when mommy stresses out, here's what mommy has to do. You want to help? Let's go. Let's go for a walk. Let's go. Let's do a dance party. Let's put on a video right now. Let's do something else because this is kind of crazy. So let's figure out what we're going to do. And those are great lessons for kids to learn, that we as adults aren't perfect and we have to learn and grow and try. So that's my one preachy piece.
Even though I'm not perfect.
Even though I'm not perfect.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm not perfect.
Even though I'm not perfect.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I'm not perfect.
Even though I'm not perfect.
I'm so far from it.
I'm so far from it.
But I think I should be perfect.
But I think I should be perfect.
And so I get upset about that.
And so I get upset about that.
I'm not perfect with my kids.
I'm not perfect with my kids.
I'm not perfect with my parents.
I'm not perfect with my parents.
I'm not perfect with my spouse.
I'm not perfect with my spouse.
And even though I'm not perfect.
And even though I'm not perfect.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to completely love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved.
And maybe anyone else involved.
Including these people here with me.
Including these people here with me.
I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect.
I am just not perfect.
I'm just not perfect.
And I love myself anyway.
And I love myself anyway.
I am perfectly imperfect.
I am perfectly imperfect.
I choose to love that about myself.
And I choose to love that about myself.
Because it's going to make life so much easier.
Because it's going to make life so much easier.
Trying to be perfect.
Trying to be perfect.
Expecting to be perfect.
Expecting to be perfect.
Is a good way to fail.
Is a good way to fail.
And take others down with me.
And take others down with me.
And nobody needs that.
And nobody needs that.
So I'm clearing this belief.
So I'm clearing this belief.
That I should be perfect.
That I should be perfect.
Whatever the heck that looks like.
Whatever the heck that looks like.
I don't know what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like.
Because no one's ever been able to model it for me.
Because no one's ever been able to model it for me.
So I'm lowering this expectation.
So I'm lowering this expectation.
Allowing myself to know.
Allowing myself to know.
That I am perfectly imperfect.
That I am perfectly imperfect.
And I'm loving myself through this.
And I'm loving myself through this.
Letting go of this expectation.
Letting go of this expectation.
That I should be getting it all right.
That I should be getting it all right.
How I'm handling my kids.
How I'm handling my kids.
How I'm handling my parents.
How I'm handling my parents.
How I'm handling my spouse.
How I'm handling my spouse.
Or whatever partner I have.
Or whatever partner I have.
How I'm handling the news.
How I'm handling the news.
How I'm handling my health.
How I'm handling my health.
How I'm handling anything.
How I'm handling anything.
I'm giving myself permission.
I'm giving myself permission.
To love, accept, and forgive myself.
To love and accept and forgive myself.
Exactly the way I'm doing it.
Exactly the way I'm doing it.
And as I can allow myself.
And as I can allow myself.
To do this for myself.
To do this for myself.
Maybe I can do it for these other people.
Maybe I can do it for these other people.
Because maybe part of me is saying.
Because maybe part of me is saying.
I can love my perfectly imperfect self.
I can love my perfectly imperfect self.
I can't love other people's imperfections.
I can't love other people's imperfections.
They're making me tear my hair out.
They're making me tear my hair out.
These people are driving me nuts.
These people are driving me nuts.
Whether they're in my house.
Whether they're in my house.
Or it's loved ones who are somewhere else.
Or it's loved ones somewhere else.
Or people that I see outside.
People I see outside.
People that I see on the news.
People I see on the news.
A lot of people are driving me nuts.
A lot of people are driving me nuts.
And that's not good for my health.
And that's not good for my health.
And the fact is.
And the fact is.
I cannot get angry enough at them.
I cannot get angry enough at them.
To change them.
To change them.
If that worked.
If that worked.
They would have already changed.
They would have already changed.
And part of me might say.
And part of me might say.
No, I just haven't gotten angry enough yet.
No, I just haven't gotten angry enough yet.
I need to get even worse.
I need to get even worse.
And I choose to clear that.
And I choose to clear that.
I choose to walk it back.
I choose to walk it back.
And move through this.
and move through this,
clearing this belief
that
I should be more upset at myself or others. I've been programmed to think that way by people who didn't know any better. And now I'm clearing this misunderstanding. Clearing it at a cellular level. And all the way back through my past. Back through all these times in my life. That I got the message. When something isn't the way you want it to be. Get really upset. You don't necessarily have to do anything. That'll fix the situation. Just get upset. And I'm moving through this. And I'm healing. And I'm relaxing. And I'm allowing myself to feel more peace. So I can love my perfectly imperfect self. So I can love my perfectly imperfect loved ones. Setting myself free. To feel much more peace. In body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. And drink some water. And I was thinking that sometimes the worry might be, I know as a mom, right, always wanting to be perfect, that my kids won't like it if I'm not perfect. And the truth is, we never are. So we have to also not create an expectation of perfection in our kids. Because if we're doing that to ourselves, again, they're always learning from us. So if we're always setting ourselves up for, well, I'm just not perfect, about that kid, well, the only way you can feel good about to live up to that standard. So, and you'll be training them to be miserable as parents. And the sound and lip sync is so it's definitely not perfect. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what we could do. Yeah, I don't. Without, I don't even know if shutting it down and starting it again will even make a difference. Let me have to try refreshing the page. So hang on. It's on your page, so refresh. It's funny, but yeah, but Christine, I try to be funny intentionally. I'm funny unintentionally all the time, which is why Christy has so many opportunities to laugh. So let's see. Yay, you're back. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, we made it. Lost everybody, but we made it back. Even though technology is difficult. Technical difficulties are fun. Yeah. Oh my. If you have a sense of humor. Yes, I love Penny. You're awesome. Even when my technology glitches, I still love, or honor, and accept myself. It's so true. Okay, so now I've closed down the other list of comments about what was going on for folks. So what? Now that the technological difficulties have taken up a chunk of our time, what else is going on for folks that you might like us to talk about, to tap about? And please go ahead and keep tapping while we're here, unless you're typing. Anyone? Bueller? And for all I know, we've frozen again. Yeah, I don't know if we've frozen again or not. I will share with you that we, on the off chance that somebody's there, in terms of tapping together, we did do this with our kids as a family. And it was not always easy. There was resistance. But we did it. We did do it. And both of our kids still use EFT. Maybe not to the full extent that we would, but now that they're a little bit older, and it's,
they've come to really embrace it and share it with friends. Bailey's been doing more and more of it, and our son, who lives in Ohio, he graduated college last year, and I know a number of times. But it is something you can do as a family, and even there were times what we did is ask them to lead a tapping round. So sometimes it might be really great to do tapping rounds when there's stress and we want to deal with that, but there's also a real benefit to positive tapping, and that might be a great way to entice kids and get them to learn a technique so that they are comfortable doing the technique. I know when I've done it with kids at school, they giggle and laugh, but they do it, and even the giggling and laughing helps them feel good. So it's okay. They do take it on and take it in.
So hopefully your breathing will improve with any of the tapping, because one of the things that constricts our breathing is stress. So as we're tapping and clearing that out, we'll breathe more fully.
Opening up breathing is good.
So actually, so we'll talk about comment now about Kim, about essential workers.
Yeah.
So let's do some surrogate tapping.
Oh,
so
perfect,
we can, because this with the family thing, we can do this for our loved ones, even if we can't get them to tap, because everything's energy, everything's connected. The tapping that we do can be beneficial for others. So go ahead and close your eyes. And think about someone that you would like to tap for. And you can think of multiple people, but if there's someone in particular, a child, a spouse, a parent, a partner, or, you're the person down at the grocery store who shows up every day, the healthcare workers, all the different people who are still out there providing essential services, while the rest of us have both the frustration but also the luxury of staying safely at home. So just allowing yourself to be aware of what you're feeling for them, allowing yourself to be aware of whatever you expect that they might be feeling. And open your eyes. Even though others are experiencing stress.
Even though others are experiencing stress,
I choose to send peace.
I choose to send peace.
Even though others are experiencing anxiety.
Even though others are experiencing anxiety,
I choose to love and send them energy.
I choose to love and send them energy.
Even though others are experiencing tough times.
Even though others are experiencing tough times.
They're frustrated.
They're frustrated.
They're angry.
They're angry.
They're scared.
They're scared.
And they might be feeling guilt.
They might be feeling guilt.
They might be feeling impatient.
They might be feeling impatient.
In fact, I know that some of them are.
In fact, I know that some of them are.
And if I can tap for some peace.
And if I can tap for some peace.
For them too.
For them too.
I choose to do so.
I choose to do so.
And even though other people are experiencing stress.
And even though other people are experiencing stress.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And all these other people.
And all these other people.
Because I choose to be that free.
Because I choose to be that free.
And I hope they will be too.
And I hope that they will be too.
Because then they'll do things a lot better.
Then they'll do things a lot better.
All this stress.
All this stress.
All this stress that I'm feeling.
All this stress that I'm feeling.
All this stress that other people are feeling.
All this stress that other people are feeling.
All this fear.
All this fear.
All this fear that I'm feeling.
All this fear that I'm feeling.
All this fear that other people are feeling.
All this fear that other people are feeling.
All this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
All this anxiety that I'm feeling.
All this anxiety that I'm feeling.
And all this anxiety that other people are feeling.
And all this anxiety that other people are feeling.
I know I'm going through a lot.
I know I'm going through a lot.
And experiencing a lot of uncomfortable feelings.
And experiencing a lot of uncomfortable feelings.
And I know other people are too.
And I know other people are too.
Especially when I see them do stupid things.
Especially when I see them do stupid things.
They're doing the best they can.
They're doing the best they can.
Based on what they're going through.
Based on what they're going through.
So maybe I can clear some of that stress.
So maybe I can clear some of that stress.
Some of that fear.
Some of that fear
that stops them from doing better.
that stops them from doing better.
It stops them from feeling better.
It stops them from feeling better.
And I'd like them to feel better.
I'd like them to feel better.
I would definitely like them to do better.
I would definitely like them to do better.
I also want them to feel better.
I also want them to feel better.
Because that's the kind of nice person I am.
That's the kind of nice person I am.
So I'm doing some tapping for them right now.
So I'm doing some tapping for them right now.
Allowing myself to feel this healing.
Allowing myself to feel this healing.
For myself and others.
For myself and others.
I may never know.
I may never know.
How much it's doing for them.
How much it's doing for them.
But even if it just relaxes me.
But even if it just relaxes me.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Because that affects my behavior.
Because that affects my behavior.
And how I show up for other people.
And how I show up for other people.
So even when I'm tapping for myself.
So even when I'm tapping for myself.
That benefits other people.
That benefits other people.
And since everything's connected.
And since everything is connected.
I choose to know.
I choose to know.
That the tapping that I'm doing.
That the tapping I'm doing.
Does help other people too.
Does help other people too.
So I'm helping them move through their stuff.
So I'm helping them move through their stuff.
Even if they're not willing to tap themselves.
Even if they're not willing to tap themselves.
Which drives me nuts.
Which drives me nuts.
And I'm clearing that feeling.
And I'm clearing that feeling.
I choose to feel okay.
I choose to feel okay.
Even if other people won't tap.
Even if other people won't tap.
They're doing the best they can.
They're doing the best they can.
And I choose to feel so good.
And I choose to feel so good.
That they'll look at me and say.
That they'll look at me and say.
I'll have what you're having.
I'll have what you're having.
You seem to be really chill.
You seem to be really chill.
I could sure use some of that.
I could sure use some of that.
And even if I say, I tap.
And even if I say, I tap.
And they say, no, thank you.
And they say, no, thank you.
I can still feel chill.
I can still feel chill.
And help them to relax too.
And help them to relax too.
Just by sending peaceful energy.
Just by sending peaceful energy.
And in order to send more peaceful energy.
And in order to send more peaceful energy.
I kind of have to clear what isn't peace.
I have to clear what isn't peace.
So I'm clearing what doesn't feel like peace.
So I'm clearing what doesn't feel like peace.
For myself and others.
For myself and others.
I'm clearing what doesn't feel like love.
I'm clearing what doesn't feel like love.
For myself and others.
For myself and others.
And for the world at large.
And for the world at large.
I'm sending a whole lot more love and peace.
I'm sending a whole lot more love and peace.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. So hopefully, while you may not be objectively able to tell where other people are at, just bringing down your own stress is going to be beneficial
yeah, absolutely.
to them, So, when Christy's getting on my nerves, I just figure, oh, I need to tap right now. And magically she changes.
It's so amazing. Is that what you're doing? Is that why you're hide out in the office and tap all day
Well, look,
long?
that's all the time we've got. I gotta go. Time for
Yeah, for a really long walk.
I think
Okay.
we need to do some shopping. I need to go out and get some. We're low on milk, right? Let me quickly see if there's any.
Thank you so much for
comments.
joining us. It was fun for me, and I hope that it's fun for you. I hope that if I'm hoping the tapping was fantastic, but if not, I hope the
You're
giggles
hoping
will
you
be.
just tell.
No, yeah, I could tell. It was great. It was really good. It was really good, honey. But
Keeps me on my toes.
but it's fun to work with Brad.
And so let me last. Okay. So great. Thank you. Yeah. Really, guys, for hanging in there, especially if you were on the other call and jumped back on the call.
Thanks for hanging in
with us after we booted off. And where are we? So yeah. So keep tapping. Again, if you have kids and want to join me with my daughter, with our daughter Bailey tomorrow. We'll have some fun with that and do some tapping, some age-appropriate tapping, and we'll see, what ages the kids are that are with us, and work around that. And also,
And thank you, Penny Elfrig, for making it available. So that's great.
And I was just going to say, hey, Penny, put the link in there.
The link. Thank
you,
Penny.
Folks, check in the comments and see. Penny has just put the link in there in the comments to get Garden of Emotions for free, and you can read along with us tomorrow, or And cool. Thanks. And you guys have an awesome, wonderful evening, and be safe. Take care of yourselves.
Bye-bye.